The Center for Human Rights is hosting a student essay contest with a grand prize of $4,000. To learn more, please visit our website at humanrights.catholic.edu.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Barefoot Lawyer Reports on China. My name is Will Deathridge, the producer, and joining me as always is Chen Guangcheng.
Hi, Will. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see you here again.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about a very relevant issue both to American politics and Chinese politics. In early April of 2025, the United States instated a series of tariffs against other countries, but most notably throughout the month, it raised tariffs significantly on communist China, and that's what we'll be talking about today, right, Guangcheng?
Yes, we will talk about this. A few years ago, a lot of people look like they live in the US, but they come from mainland China. They always criticize Donald Trump, and they support Biden. They said, we support Biden administration because Donald Trump always sees Xi Jinping is his good friend. That proves he never cared about human rights.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Now Trump added the highest tariffs to the CCP.
Okay.
Now the same people who criticized Trump for being too friendly to Xi Jinping are criticizing him for being too harsh against Xi Jinping.
Right. What do you think their goal is, Guangcheng? Because, like you said before, they were criticizing Trump for being too friendly. Now they're criticizing him for being too harsh. What do you think their goal is?
Yeah, they just want to give the U.S. trouble. Mm-hmm. They just want to transfer some information to mainland China to let people lose the hope. Don't think democracy is good. Don't think the rule of law is good. Don't think the Constitution is good. Look at the U.S., the left and the right, they fight each other. They always fight each other. They never care the people's rights.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they tried to use that way to say, look at the U.S. situations. They're not good.
Right.
Maybe compare the two situations between U.S. and China. Look like the CCP is okay, right? Mm-hmm. the CCP policy is not very, very bad, it looks like. Yeah, that is the CCP's foreign propaganda's goal.
So Guangcheng, the people that you're talking about who were criticizing Trump before and after the tariffs, who are these people? Are they people from China? Are they influencers? Are they important people, famous people? Or
I think not very important, but some people a little famous. Because before looked like they are activists, looked like they did some small things, but after some time, they find a way to come to the foreign countries. They live in the Europe, they live in the US and Canada, like that. But since they came here, they changed their mind and stand up against the US values. If the CCP need them to help, they will use their mouthpiece to help them.
So are you saying they're like disguising themselves as activists?
I think they are not real activists. Yeah, maybe the CCP sent them out, let them to do that in the foreign country.
Yeah.
So even they become the US citizens, but they still work for CCP.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but in fact, they are infiltrating American political parties to do the CCP's bidding.
So Guangcheng, let's just shift to the tariffs in general. What do you think about them? Do you think they're a good thing?
I think that is very good. If they have a good relationship, CCP and the US, that is very, very bad for Chinese people.
Okay. Why is that?
Since 30 years, even 40 years ago, the CCP worked with the US companies to do some new technology to develop the facial recognition and movement recognition to do the surveillance against Chinese people.
Okay.
If the US make treaty with Communist Party is not good for Chinese people. If the US can stand with Chinese people, I think that is a good future. Yeah, so I support the US stand with Chinese people and fight CCP.
Yeah.
So this is why I support tariffs to CCP.
Right.
Yeah.
I know in previous podcasts we've covered that when we make trade deals with the Communist Party, it only benefits the people in the party, right, Guangcheng?
Yeah. For the U.S. people, I think they don't understand that it's good or not. I think I can be sure on the face, the CCP said, oh, we should fight back, we should blah, blah, like that. But in fact, the CCP worry about this. Now the CCP tried to find a way to talk, to discuss with the U.S. government.
Yeah, I was going to ask, there's a lot of people in the American media that say that China is in a stronger position than we are.
No, I think that's not true, yeah. I believe the U.S. have a lot of cards to use it, but for CCP, no card to use it.
What makes you think that, Guangcheng? Can you explain to some of the listeners who might think that we're in a weaker position?
Yeah, usually the CCP, before they have a lot of cheap workers.
Right.
They had a lot of companies to manufacturing to sell to the US, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the CCP use that to get the money.
Okay.
And now, because mainland China, they are not enough people to do that.
Right, because of the population crisis,
Yeah, because
right?
the population, they lost more and more. If the US added the tariffs, that will give the CCP trouble. The US is the number one customer
Right.
for the CCP. But, the CCP is only interested in buying things from the US if they can steal the technology. The CCP use the same way tariffs against the US. That doesn't work.
Right.
If the CCP cannot get the new technology, all their companies will close because they don't have the chips, the new chips to use it. So of course, compare the two situations, the US is much, much more important than CCP.
Yeah, no, that'll make sense, and we'll continue to cover this as this tariff war progresses, and encourage all of our listeners to subscribe to us on whichever platform you're listening to, whether that be on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and check out our website at humanrights.catholic.edu. Thank you so much, Guangcheng, for all this information.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We will continue to talk about this. See you next time.
The Catholic University of America's Center for Human Rights has published a documentary on the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights. The documentary features world-class human rights experts, from former State Department officials to ambassadors and human rights activists. It can be found on our website at humanrights.catholic.edu.